It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back from Lead Beyond, Toshiba's annual event. They held it in Las Vegas. When I get back from these events, the first thing I like to do is I like to hang up the lanyard over here with the lanyard collection. So let me get that done over here real quick. And now I want to do a big thank you to Larry White and the entire Toshiba team, because this event that you put on was great. And you navigated all of the participants through a pretty big disaster there at the Bellagio Hotel. We've all seen the news, right? MGM and their properties, cyber attack. Ladies and gentlemen, those services that the Bellagio and these resorts are known for, well, they got hammered a little bit because there's a cyber attack. Some of the folks had to wait 4 or 5 hours just to check into the hotel. So there was a lot of things that were creating kind of a tough experience. But the Toshiba team, they did a fantastic job navigating the participants through those tough experiences, if you will. And they really worked hard. You know, putting these events on is hard enough. You know, all the planning that goes in. I mean, the last thing anybody wants is to show up to the hotel for an event they've planned for a long, long time. This was Toshiba's first event in 5 years. And have a big hiccup called a cyber attack on the resort. So again, Toshiba and all the team, you did a fantastic job navigating us through that. And you really should be commended for that. So ladies and gentlemen, let me talk about this show a little bit. The first thing I want to show this slide here. There's a gentleman over here called Magic Johnson. And there's a gentleman over here called John Dorenbos. And John Dorenbos is an ex-football player that's actually a magician. And the reason I'm putting Magic Johnson's picture here is because about a year ago I went to an event. And the keynote speaker was Magic Johnson. And I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be some magic at the event. I'm thinking Magic Johnson, he's got to be a magician. I show up to the event. I'm listening to Magic Johnson talk. It turns out he's an NBA, basketball player, but he's really, really good, And so he was there doing the keynote, but he had no tricks. There was no magic tricks. But Toshiba, they bring in this guy, John Dorenbos, ex-football player. This guy's doing all kinds of crazy things with cards. And, I mean, he's a great magician. But I will tell you this, it was the best damn keynote I've ever heard in my life. And ladies and gentlemen, I've heard a lot of keynotes. But this gentleman touched every emotion a person has. He gave a great keynote address. And yes, there was magic in that address. I don't want to share too many details about his presentation, but I want to urge all of my friends, if they ever have an opportunity to hear John Dorenbos speak, please go. You won't be disappointed. And Toshiba, thank you for bringing him in, because it was a fantastic, fantastic presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, the event started out with an analyst dinner, and yes, there is a picture upside down. I'm not feeling too good today, so I didn't want to change it. But anyway, a lot of people think that I turn the world upside down. A lot of people were thinking if I go to an analyst dinner, there'll probably be some fist fights or something. There was no fist fights at this thing. These are professional people. It was amazing. I mean, we all had a great dinner. We drank some wine. We talked amongst each other. I'm sitting here with Christy Woods. I assure you, we weren't upside down. And Christy Woods, she works with Toshiba. But folks, we had a great event. And it was, the analysts were given access to all of the executives there. And they were forthright and answered our questions. And it was truly a great time. So I just wanted to share that. And then we had a charity drive, right? So, a lot of these OEMs, they put these meetings together and they want to give back to the community. And Mega's one of the executives there at Toshiba, and she has a passion for foster children. And they put together this program, and Toshiba said, hey, we'll match $10,000. Well, they got it. So they've given Orangewood Grove over $20,000. So that was a great deal, given back to the community at Orange Grove. Congratulations, Megan, for setting that up with your Toshiba family. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not one for the awards, right? I make fun of awards a lot because our industry has some really stupid ones out there. And one of my concerns is with all these stupid, nonsensical awards, you commoditize hard work. And hard work should not be commoditized when it's rewarded. At Toshiba, they understand this, and they gave the awards out to their dealer partners. And the dealer of the year was Kelly Connect. Congratulations, Kelly Connect. And that is something to be proud of. That is an award to be proud of. Again, congratulations, Kelly Connect. And they also brought in a panel of customers. Toshiba brought in a panel of customers, and this is always good. Because a lot of times, the industry itself, its actors, they convince themselves that they're more relevant than maybe they are. They convince themselves that they have more benefits to end users than the end users realize. And it's really nice to have those end users in those forums where they can make sure they can balance between what the industry's actors believe to what the end users actually believe. So that was a great presentation. It really was, ladies and gentlemen. I urge all the OEMs to do a lot more of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I did an interview with Larry White while we were at the event. It's on my YouTube channel. And I bring this up because the very first question I asked Larry was, I said, Larry, were you trying to sell yourselves on the relevance of print? And the people in the audience, because they were really trying to sell the relevance of print. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be real honest with you. As I started listening to Larry White's keynote, I started thinking to myself, hey, when I was at the airport, did I get in a DeLorean and not really pay attention to it and ended up in 1990? Or did I get in a limo and end up in the year 2023? I was kind of confused there for a second. Because Larry, he was talking about the relevancy of print, And I wanted to ask him about it, and he gave me a great answer. Well, there's two things, really. Toshiba had 26% growth with their dealer community and hardware, so you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But they believe at Toshiba that the device is very, very important. And they shared some analogies that even got me thinking a little bit different. Let's just put it that way. Let me share something with you. This is Kirsten Woods, and folks, she said something at this event that's just so profound, and I'm gonna probably use this a lot. She said the competition is not another OEM. The competition is the decline in print. The competition is the decline in print, not another OEM. Kirsten, that was so profound. And what she means by that is we have to figure out how to work with the decline of print. And how are we going to do that and maintain a relevance around hardware? Ladies and gentlemen, she used this as an example, the Peloton story. We've all had these exercise bikes, right? We've been on them. Well, Peloton brought that thing to life. What Peloton did is they brought that bike rider right through the intersection of the digital and physical world. They changed the experience. I've been saying for a long time that customer experience is found in the intersection between the digital and physical world, and Peloton did just that. During COVID, Peloton had tremendous growth. And now we're seeing Peloton take a little bit of a hiccup as they balance out between supply and demand. But they changed the world. They really did. They changed exercise. They brought a new experience to it. And that's kind of where Toshiba wants to do. What Toshiba wants to do is they want to take their Elevate Sky and all these applications and processes that they can bring through these devices and create better experiences for end users, because we all know that experience is found in the intersection between the digital and physical world. I have some cautions around this. Eventually, the hardware is just not going to be as important. And every day it gets less important. And so OEMs like Toshiba and all of our other OEM friends are going to have to figure out what other products can they make as the core deliverable product of print continues to decline, fade away. One of the questions I asked Larry in that interview, are you going to take the Elevate Sky and all these applications, if you will, and are you going to allow the end users to access those without the device? And that was really hard for Larry to even hear. Without the device, we got to sell the device. That's just like all the other. Everybody wants to sell the device. We get it. But unfortunately, those are things we have to anticipate that we will be doing. We will be allowing people to use these processes without that physical device. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the reality. Print's not going to go away completely. And those people that will say things like the paperless office is here and we're never going to print in the world and all that, that's nuts. And I've never been one of those people. My argument has always been this. When print declines to a point, when it cannot be monetized, and we cannot extract the profit from it, as we did just a few short years ago, we have a problem. And that's where we're heading. Contracts are getting slimmer and slimmer. Output is continuing to decline. We'll have verticals that'll print more longer. There's no doubt about it. But we all saw what happened with the home printing. During COVID, kind of like Peloton, everybody got excited. And I believe that Peloton, their growth came from the exerciser in the house. And they were taking advantage of people being captive because of COVID, because of lockdowns. And as the world opened up, that experience changed a little bit. And Peloton will work through those changes, I'm sure. But same with home printing. Everybody thought home printing was going to be this great thing. Get all these printers into people's houses. HP running around like lunatics talking about how they sold millions and millions of subscriptions. Unfortunately, people aren't using them. They might have bought the hardware, but they're not using them in those home offices. So when I talk about print and print decline, I want us to all think about how much does it decline before it hurts our P&Ls? And we better start knowing those numbers, because that day is coming. And I appreciate the fact that Larry and Toshiba is talking about the relevance of print, because right now, when you experience a 26% growth with your dealers in hardware, that's fantastic. Just keep in mind, eventually, that growth's going to continue to decline. We are going to have a lot of displacement growth as OEMs change. Maybe some go away. So we'll grab some bases. But everybody watching me knows that no one will print more tomorrow than they print today. And we have to figure out how to deal with that. I like the Elevate Sky. I like all these products and capabilities that you can do with these devices. But I really want to see how we're going to do without the device one day. The other thing they talked about was the label printers. And folks, label printing is big. There's no doubt about it. But again, here's a deliverable where we just saw the largest manufacturer of label printers in the world is a company called Zebra laying off 700 people. And they're basing that off of, there's an adjustment between supply and demand going on. Ladies and gentlemen, so many things were impacted around COVID and the lockdowns. As the world starts to open up now, we're starting to realize that a lot of these aspirations around what was going on during COVID, all those hopes and dreams about what was going on during COVID, aren't necessarily going to pan out to be realities in the post-COVID world. Labels, I believe, will be around a long, long time. I think the laying off at Zebra could be a benefit to our friends over at Toshiba. Maybe they could go out and find some of these Zebra executives, if you will, and get them in the family. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of things going on in our industry, that is for sure. Toshiba, they shared a vision with their dealers. That vision is to help their dealers. And right now, they want to make sure they got the hardware they need to go out in the marketplace. That's a great thing because obviously the dealers are buying the hardware. They want to make sure that hardware can be used as an edge device, if you will, to help those end users navigate between that intersection between the digital and physical world. Toshiba, keep doing the things you're doing. And I will end it with this. Everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.